You've been taught to look for the monster in the shadows, but the real monster has never been in the shadows. It's been on the billboards, in the commercials, smiling at you your entire life. What if that comforting, familiar feeling you get from a cheerful logo isn't a feeling of safety? What if it's a feeling of ownership? The story you are about to hear is not fiction. It is a key to understanding why you feel so trapped in a world that promises you freedom, and why the worst choices always feel like your own idea. By the time this is over, you will no longer be afraid of the dark. You will be afraid of the light that is used to hide it. You're 15, and the world has already decided who you are. A bad kid. That's the label they stamped on your soul, in the gray, crumbling heart of the Detroit foster care system. It's a state you've been forced to occupy, a role you never auditioned for, but now play to perfection. You've learned that survival isn't about being good. It's about being smart, about understanding the game. The inner world is your only real sanctuary, a place where your imagination can still run free, even when your body is locked in a system designed to break you. And then, one day, they give you a choice. Mrs. Gable, your caseworker, with her tired eyes and a voice that has given up on inspiration, lays it out. 2 paths: military school, a place that promises to grind your defiance into dust, or a second far stranger option, a specialized program at something called the Ronald McDonald House. The name hangs in the air, absurd and out of place. A splash of color in a world of gray. This is your moment of selection, the universe testing your operant power. But that's only the surface. The choice feels like a test of consciousness. Military school is a known quantity, a straightforward path to hell. You can already feel the rough fabric of the uniform, hear the soulless chants in the morning, taste the bland food. It's an admission of defeat, an acceptance of their label. But the Ronald McDonald House, that's a blank page. The name itself is a joke, a clownish absurdity. Your imagination ignites. You picture bright colors, a place so ridiculously cheerful it has to be a front for something easy, a place to get lost in, a loophole. You make an assumption. You assume it's the lesser of 2 evils, the path of least resistance. You feel it in your gut, a spark of cunning rebellion. This is how you win. This is how you escape the state they've built for you. You don't need to fight their game. You just need to choose a different one. A deep intuitive sense tells you that feeling is the key, and the feeling of outsmarting them is the most potent magic you possess. Here's what changes everything. "I'll take the clown house," you say, the smirk on your face a carefully constructed mask. You watch Mrs. Gable for a reaction, a flicker of surprise, anything. But there's nothing. Just a slow, tired nod, as if she knew what your selection would be all along. As if you were never really choosing at all. "All right," she says, her voice flat, devoid of emotion. "I'll make the call." The ease of it is unsettling. There's no argument, no attempt to dissuade you. It's a transaction, a simple transfer of property. For a fleeting moment, you feel a surge of power, the intoxicating belief that you already are the person who beat the system. You manifested this. This was your will, your operant power bending the world around you. You chose the weird, the unknown, and they just let you. That should have been the first warning sign. The absolute deafening silence where you expected a fight. Now go deeper. Packing is a quick affair. A duffel bag with a few worn-out shirts, a pair of jeans, and the one thing that truly belongs to you, a small cheap photo album. It's filled with pictures of faces you've tried to call family, a collection of temporary smiles and borrowed homes. It's the story of who you were. Mrs. Gable doesn't say much on the drive. The car smells of stale coffee and disappointment. As the familiar broken streets of Detroit slide by, a strange quiet falls between you. It's not a comfortable silence. It's heavy, thick, with unspoken things. "They have a unique approach," she finally says, her eyes fixed on the road ahead. "They believe in transforming a child's inner world completely." The words sound rehearsed, a line from a brochure she doesn't believe in. The confidence you felt earlier begins to curdle, replaced by a low, humming dread. The assumption you made, the one that felt so clever, so powerful, now feels like the first step into a trap you willingly built for yourself. The car journey stretches on, leaving the city's carcass behind for a part of the outskirts you've never seen, a place that feels forgotten by time. The buildings grow sparse, the sky a bigger, emptier shade of gray. Your I am, the defiant identity you clung to, feels smaller out here, insignificant. The feeling that was supposed to be your key now feels like the lock on a cage door, and you just heard it click shut. You realize that your entire consciousness had been focused on the act of choosing, on the momentary feeling of control. You never stopped to question what you were actually choosing. You were so focused on escaping the state of being a bad kid that you never considered you could be moved to a state far, far worse. The silence in the car is no longer just silence. It's a vacuum, pulling you forward toward a destination that your soul has already started screaming about. A place where the silly, cheerful name you chose begins to sound like a threat. The car stops. There's no grand entrance, no cheerful sign, not even a nameplate. There is only the building. It's a titan of gray concrete punching a hole in the sky, a windowless, featureless slab that seems to absorb the light around it. It feels less like a building and more like a tombstone waiting for a name. Your assumption, once a source of clever pride, now collapses into a cold, hard knot in your stomach. This is the Ronald McDonald house. The name echoes in your mind, a hysterical, insane joke against the brutalist architecture before you. Mrs. Gable doesn't get out of the car. She just unlocks the doors. "This is it," she says, and her voice is the final shovel of dirt on the coffin of your hope. You are an object being delivered. You grab your bag, the photo album inside feeling impossibly heavy, a relic from a life that just ended. The car pulls away without a second glance, leaving you utterly alone at the foot of the silent gray giant. But that's only the surface. The single metal door hisses open before you can even touch it, a silent invitation into the belly of the beast. The air that spills out is wrong. It's cold, sterile, like a hospital, but underneath that antiseptic scent is something else. Something sweet and cloying, like burnt sugar and old meat. Your imagination, which had once been your escape, now becomes your tormentor, conjuring images of what could make such a smell. You step inside, and the door hisses shut behind you with a terrifying finality. You've crossed a threshold. Your consciousness is no longer in the familiar world of Detroit. It has entered the inner world of this place, a new state of being governed by unknown, monstrous rules. The lobby is vast, empty, and polished to a sickening gleam. In the center, alone under a single harsh light, sits a reception desk. And behind it, someone is waiting for you. Here's what changes everything. She doesn't look up at first. She's just a figure in a bright yellow jumpsuit, focused on a pristine white keyboard. Then she senses you. Her head snaps up, and the world tilts on its axis. Her face, it's a mask of pure white foundation, a perfect, chalky canvas. Her mouth is a slash of red lipstick painted far beyond the lines of her lips into a permanent, horrifying smile. 2 bright red circles are painted on her cheeks, and her eyebrows are thin, arched lines of black paint. It's him. It's a nightmarish corporate perversion of Ronald McDonald. She is a living effigy, a secretary in a clown's skin. The sight is so fundamentally wrong that your mind struggles to process it. This is the first sign, the blaring, screaming siren that your selection was not a choice between 2 bad options, but a choice between a difficult life and an impossible nightmare. Her smile doesn't waver. It's not a human expression. It's a fixture. Now go deeper. "Welcome," she chirps, and her voice is as artificial as her face, high, tinny, and unnervingly cheerful, like a recording from a children's toy with a dying battery. "We're so happy you've decided to join us. We've been waiting for you." The words are meant to be welcoming, but they land like blows. They mock your illusion of control, your foolish belief in your own operant power. She knows. You didn't decide. She knows you were delivered. You try to speak, to ask a question, to scream, but your throat closes up. The feeling is the key, and the only feeling now is a paralytic, ice-cold terror. You are a bug trapped in a jar, and this smiling thing is watching you suffocate. She gestures with a white-gloved hand toward a row of uncomfortable-looking plastic chairs. Please have a seat. The nurse will be with you in just a moment to begin your intake. The casual, bureaucratic language is the most terrifying part of all. It's the normalization of the absolute grotesque. You don't move. Your feet are rooted to the floor. Your I am, your sense of self, is shrinking, dissolving under the weight of her painted-on gaze. You are no longer a bad kid from Detroit. You are simply prey. The silence of the vast lobby returns, broken only by the faint, rhythmic clack-clack-clack of her fingernails on the keyboard. It's a countdown. You thought you already are the person who escaped, but standing here, in this cold, sweet-smelling hell, you understand the truth. You already are exactly where they wanted you. The escape was the trap. And as you stand there frozen, you hear, or faintly, from a hallway deep within the building, a sound drifts towards you. It's a giggle. A high, sharp, and utterly insane giggle that promises the intake is about to begin. That giggle. It's the sound of a merry-go-round spinning off its axis, cheerful and broken all at once. It grows louder, echoing down the sterile hallway, and then she appears. The nurse. She's wearing a crisp white nurse's uniform, but it's splattered, with small bright red stains that look disturbingly like cartoon blood. Her face is the same horrifying canvas as the secretary's, the chalk-white skin, the painted-on smile, but hers is chipped and cracked around the edges, as if she's been smiling that smile for 1,000 years. She holds a clipboard in one hand and she doesn't walk. She glides, her rubber-soled shoes making no sound on the polished floor. The giggle stops the moment she sees you, and her head tilts with a motion that is unnervingly bird-like. "There you are," she sings, her voice a melody of madness. "We were starting to think you got lost. Time for your checkup. Your inner world, once your sanctuary, is now just a single silent scream, but that's only the surface." The paralysis breaks. Your consciousness screams, "Run." "No!" You manage to choke out, the word barely a whisper. "There's a mistake. I'm leaving." You take a step back, your eyes darting to the heavy metal door you came through. It's your only point of reference to the world that was, the world before this insane state of being. You try to exert your will, to force a change, to reverse the selection you so foolishly made. But the nurse just lets out another tinkling laugh. "Oh, silly. Nobody leaves. Why would you want to? We're going to make you so happy." She takes a step forward, and her smile seems to widen, stretching the cracked paint on her face. Her eyes, the only human things left in that mask, are utterly devoid of warmth. They are the eyes of a predator, amused by the fear of its prey. The feeling is the key, and the feeling she radiates is one of absolute, joyful ownership. You are hers. Here's what changes everything. You don't wait for another word. You turn and bolt. Your duffel bag drops to the floor as pure, unthinking. Instinct takes over. The door isn't far, maybe 30 feet. For a heart-stopping second, you believe you can make it. Your imagination flashes with the image of bursting out into the gray afternoon, of running until this place is just a bad dream. But your operant power is a lie. The moment your feet pound against the floor, they appear. From hallways you didn't even see, they pour out. 1, 2, then 4 more clown nurses, all identical, all moving with a silent, synchronized speed that isn't human. They form a perfect, smiling wall between you and the exit. There was no escape. There was never a chance. The lobby, which felt so vast and empty, now feels like a tiny sealed box. The trap wasn't the building. It was the illusion that you could ever leave it. Now go deeper. They descend upon you not with violence but with a terrifying, gentle efficiency. They're white-gloved. Hands are impossibly strong, gripping your arms and legs. You fight, you thrash, you scream, but it's like struggling against statues. And all the while they coo and shush you. Shh, shh, it's okay. You're just a little overwhelmed. We've got you. It's a chorus of soothing lies whispered by monsters. The original nurse, the one with the chipped smile, glides through the group, her eyes gleaming. She holds up a large, gleaming syringe, the needle thick and menacing. It's filled with a fluid that looks like milk. "This will help you relax," she sings. Just a little pinch. You feel a cold swab on your neck, and then a sharp, piercing pain. Your scream dies in your throat. Your entire I am, your defiant, struggling self, feels the poison enter its veins. The world immediately begins to dissolve. The harsh lights of the lobby smear into long, blurry streaks. The smiling faces of the nurses warp and melt like wax, their painted-on grins twisting into grotesque, swirling shapes. Your limbs become heavy, useless things, and you feel yourself being lifted, strapped onto a gurney with cold, efficient snaps of leather. You thought you already are a prisoner, but you were wrong. You were just being processed. Now the real imprisonment begins. The last thing you hear before your consciousness shatters completely is their laughter. It's not individual giggles anymore. It's a single, harmonious, overwhelming chorus of joyful insanity. The sound of the abyss welcoming you home as your vision fades to absolute black. Consciousness returns like a faulty switch, flickering on and off. There's a pounding in your skull and a foul metallic taste in your mouth. The first thing you register is the cold. A deep, penetrating cold seeping up from the concrete floor, right through the thin, scratchy fabric of the hospital gown you're now wearing. You peel your eyes open. The world is a dim, gray box. You're in a cell. No windows, just poured concrete walls stained with things you don't want to identify. A single, weak bulb hangs from the ceiling, protected by a rusty wire cage, casting long, skeletal shadows. This isn't just a room. It's a cage, a deliberate space designed for containment. The state you now occupy is no longer ambiguous. You are a prisoner. Your body is a specimen, and the faint, sweet smell from the lobby is stronger here, mingled with the scent of rust and despair. But that's only the surface. You push yourself up, your muscles aching in protest. The room is brutally simple. The thin mattress you were lying on, a toilet and a sink, nothing else. A wave of absolute hopelessness washes over you. Your brief, violent struggle was meaningless. Your defiance was a joke. They had you from the moment Mrs. Gable said the name of this place. But then you see it, tucked away on a small, crude metal shelf bolted to the wall is your duffel bag. It's a bizarre detail, an anomaly in this sterile, brutal environment. Why? Why give you the one thing that connects you to the outside world? A flicker of your old self, the cynical survivor, sparks to life. Your imagination, so recently a source of terror, now latches onto this puzzle. It's a mistake, or it's a message. Either way, it's the only thing in this room that isn't made of concrete and steel. Here's what changes everything. With trembling legs, you stumble over to the bag. You unzip it with fumbling fingers. Your worn-out clothes are there, a pathetic pile of a former life. But lying right on top, placed with an unnerving deliberateness, is your photo album. Your heart seizes. This small, cheap book of plastic sleeves is your entire history. It's the proof of your I am, the scattered timeline of a life spent bouncing between strangers. Holding it feels like holding a ghost. In the crushing silence of the cell, the feeling is the key. The key to remembering who you are, to holding on to the thread of your own existence before this place severs it completely. You carry it back to the mattress as if it were a holy relic, a shield against the encroaching madness. You sit, take a shaky breath and open the cover. Now go deeper. It's wrong. The first page is immediately, horribly wrong. Instead of the faded Polaroid of your first foster mom, smiling nervously on a porch swing, there is a stark, clinical photograph. It's her, but her eyes are wide and glassy, her throat a mangled ruin. It's a crime scene photo. Your breath catches in a sob. Your mind rejects it, a desperate, futile attempt to unsee what you're seeing. You flip the page, and the next, and the next. It's all there. Every person, every family that ever took you in, their faces captured not in life, but in the gruesome final moments of it. The smiling couple from Ann Arbor, The old woman in Grand Rapids, all of them. Gone. Your inner world is being systematically butchered before your eyes. They didn't just take you. They took your entire past, salting the earth of your memories, so nothing could ever grow there again. You reach the last sleeve, the one you always kept for your most recent placement. But the photo of the family you just left isn't there. Instead, it's a picture of a car wreck, the vehicle crumpled around a telephone pole. It's Mrs. Gable's car, and through the shattered windshield, you can see her face, frozen in a mask of ultimate terror. In the dark reflection of the glass, barely visible but undeniably there, is a smear of white face paint and the edge of a wide red inhuman smile. The truth crashes down on you with the force of a physical blow. Your selection didn't just doom you, it was a death sentence for everyone you ever knew. They didn't just imprison you, they curated your solitude, erasing every connection you had to the world. You already are a ghost. And in that moment, something inside you breaks. Or maybe, it's finally forged into something hard and sharp. There are no more tears. The grief and the horror from the photographs have burned away, leaving something cold and diamond hard in their place. Rage. The label they gave you, bad kid, you now claim it. It's no longer an insult, it's a weapon. All those nights spent in locked rooms, all the petty thefts and acts of defiance, they weren't just random anger, they were practice. You are not the victim they tried to make you. Your I am is a lockpick. Your I am is a survivor. This is your true operant power, born not of mystical thought, but of pure, gritty survival. You tear the spiral binding from the photo album, the very object of your trauma, and straighten a piece of the wire. The lock on your cell door is old, mechanical, an oversight, an assumption on their part that you were already broken. You kneel, insert the wire, and your entire consciousness narrows to a single point of focus. The tumblers, the faint clicks, the feeling of the mechanism giving way. But that's only the surface. The final tumbler clicks into place. The sound is a cannon shot in the oppressive silence. You hold your breath, waiting for the sound of running feet, of insane giggles. Nothing. There is only the low, ever-present hum of the building. You slowly pull the heavy door inward, just a crack. The hallway outside is a long, sterile tube of concrete and flickering fluorescent lights that cast everything in a pale, sickly green. It stretches into the darkness in both directions, lined with dozens of identical steel doors. The air is colder out here, and the cloying, sweet smell is thick enough to taste. You have escaped your cell, but you have just stepped into a larger cage, a labyrinth designed by madmen. Your selection of freedom from the cell was just a choice to enter a more complex and dangerous state of being. You slip out, a ghost in, a hospital gown, and let the door swing silently shut behind you. Here's what changes everything. Every step is a gamble. The concrete is cold beneath your bare feet. You move with a stealth you didn't know you possessed, every sense on fire. Your imagination, no longer your enemy, works for you now, painting scenarios of what lies behind each numbered door, calculating the risks of every shadow. The silence is a living thing, and it is soon broken. From behind one door, you hear a faint, rhythmic sobbing. From another, a desperate, muffled scream that is cut off with a sickening abruptness. This place isn't just a prison. It's a kennel. A processing plant for sorrow. You are not alone, and that knowledge is somehow worse than being the only victim. Each sound is a testament to another life being systematically deconstructed, another inner world being invaded and shattered by the smiling monsters that run this place. Now go deeper. You hurry past a door that's different from the others. It has a small, reinforced glass window, barred on the outside. A faded, peeling decal of a smiling sun is stuck to the metal. Next to it, a plastic sign reads, "The Play Place." The name is a vile mockery. As you draw level with the window, you hear it, the rhythmic grinding creak of a swing set in desperate need of oil, and with it, a high-pitched, frantic sound. It isn't the happy laughter of a child at play. It's a broken, manic, joyless noise, a sound of pure terror trying to imitate fun. It's the sound of a mind that has been completely shattered and reassembled into something hideous. You risk a glance through the window, a sliver of a view. You don't see a child. You just see a swing moving back and forth in the gloom, all on its own. The feeling is the key, and the feeling that pours from that room is one of absolute, eternal torment. The horror of the play place gives you a new, frantic energy. You move faster, deeper into the building, following the hallway as it begins to slope downward. You are descending. The air grows damper, the hum gets louder, and it's now joined by a wet, rhythmic dripping sound. The whimpers and screams of the upper levels fade, replaced by a low industrial drone. The sterile hospital-like corridors are giving way to something more primal, more functional. You have left the holding pens and are now entering the factory floor. You thought you already are free, but you've just realized you've only moved from the waiting room to the abattoir. The hallway ends, opening into a vast, dark, and cavernous chamber, and the true purpose of this house of horrors is finally revealed. The cavernous chamber is cold, and the air is thick with the coppery tang of old blood and the sharp electric smell of ozone. The low industrial drone you heard from the hallway is a deafening, soul-rattling hum in here, the sound of immense power being used for some terrible purpose. This is the engine room of hell. Dim, yellow light filters down from a network of catwalks high above, casting long, distorted shadows that dance and writhe. Strange, massive pieces of machinery, all gleaming stainless steel and thick, bundled cables, line the damp concrete walls. Your consciousness, already stretched to its breaking point, struggles to make sense of this place. It's a factory, a slaughterhouse. This is the inner world of the building, and it is a place of pure mechanical evil. You followed the path down, and it has led you to the source. But that's only the surface. Drawn forward against your will, you move into the heart of the chamber. A series of harsh spotlights are aimed at the center of the room, creating a terrible theatrical stage. And on that stage are the performers. Figures, a dozen of them, are suspended in the air. As you get closer, the shapes resolve into a sight so profane your mind tries to reject it. They are children. Kids of all ages dressed in the same thin hospital gowns as you are held upright, their arms outstretched against gleaming cross-shaped metal frames. They hang limp, their heads lolling, either unconscious or dead. Wires and sensors are attached to their bodies, but it's the clear plastic tubes that make your stomach clench. Thick tubes run from needles in their arms, their legs, their necks, all pulsing faintly with a dark, viscous liquid. Here's what changes everything. Your eyes follow the horrifying web of tubes. They snake down from the crucified children, converging at a single point. In the very center of the room, directly under the spotlights, is a colossal glass cylinder, at least 20 feet high, filled with a swirling dark crimson liquid. It's a vat, a collection tank. The gentle hum of the machinery is the sound of pumps, siphoning the very life from the children on the crosses and depositing it into this grotesque chalice. This is the monstrous purpose of the Ronald McDonald house. It's not a prison, it's a farm. A factory that harvests the blood of the forgotten, the unwanted children of the world. The cheerful clown, the happy branding. It's all a smiling mask for an operation of industrial vampiric horror. The feeling is the key, and the feeling that washes over you is a profound cosmic sickness. Now go deeper. You finally understand. The entire system, the foster homes, the caseworkers, the choices, it's all just a supply chain. A way to funnel raw materials to the factory floor. Your selection wasn't a choice. It was a routing number, directing you to this specific processing plant. The mystical nonsense they might have once believed in, consciousness, the inner world, the state of being, has been perverted into this. They are literally draining the inner world of these children, their very essence, and bottling it. The phrase "you already are" echoes in your mind with a new, terrifying meaning. From the moment you were labeled a bad kid, you already were a product. You were already marked for consumption. The clown makeup, the giggles, the play places. It's all just the whimsical, insane packaging on a product made of pain. The sheer, overwhelming scale of the evil sends a tremor through your body. You stumble backward, a choked sob escaping your lips. Your hand, slick with cold sweat, slips and slams against a metal railing. The clang is deafening, a sharp metallic scream that cuts through the drone of the machinery. Instantly, everything changes. A cacophony of alarms blares to life. Red emergency lights begin to flash, strobing across the room, illuminating the suspended children in flashes of demonic light and shadow. The hum of the factory changes pitch, winding up into a high-pitched shriek. From the catwalks high above, you hear shouts. The clowns are coming. You have seen the truth. And now, the machine you have discovered intends to grind you into its gears. The moment the alarm sounds, the factory floor becomes a whirlwind of motion. The smiling monsters appear on the catwalks above, their white and yellow uniforms stark against the flashing red lights. They don't use stairs. They slide down gleaming, steel poles with a terrifying practice speed. Their insane giggles now a chorus of battle cries. Your body acts before your mind can, pure adrenaline overriding all thought. You run, not towards the way you came, but deeper, away from the crosses in the vat of blood, into the dark, churning guts of the facility. Your only operant power now is the primal animal instinct to flee. You slam through a heavy maintenance door and plunge into a new level of hell, the sounds of their pursuit echoing right behind you, a wave of joyful murder chasing you down. But that's only the surface. This is not another sterile corridor. You're in a network of crude, sewer-like tunnels, the air thick with a stench that makes the coppery smell of the factory seem clean. Slimy black liquid drips from the ceiling, and the path is uneven, littered with refuse. As your eyes adjust, you realize the heaps of garbage aren't garbage. They are bodies. Piles of pale, stick-thin children, their hospital gowns tattered and stained, discarded like factory waste. This is where the byproducts go. The children who were fully drained, the husks left behind, are simply dumped here to rot. Your imagination, which has shown you so many horrors, could never have prepared you for this. You scramble over a pile of small, cold bodies, the touch of their skin against yours a final, profound violation. The giggling of the clown nurses is getting closer. Here's what changes everything. You see it then. A rusted iron ladder leading up into darkness. A manhole. It's an exit. It has to be. You climb, your bare feet slipping on the rungs, your hands raw and shaking. The chorus of laughter is right below you now, a sound that promises an eternity of torment if they catch you. You reach the top and slam your shoulder against the heavy iron cover. It doesn't budge. Rusted solid. Panic claws at your throat. With a scream of pure, desperate rage, you push again. All your strength, all your fear, all your hatred focused on that single point. The rusted seal groans, cracks, and with a final agonizing shove, the cover grinds open. Gray, dim light spills in. You haul yourself up, out onto a cracked and weedy pavement, and with the last of your strength, you kick the heavy lid back into place, sealing the laughter in the darkness below. Now go deeper. You lay on the cold ground, gasping for air. The silence that follows the chaos is deafening. You've escaped. You are in an alley, but as you stumble out onto the street, you realize something is profoundly wrong. The city is dead. It's Detroit. You recognize the skyline. But it's a ghost town. Cars from a bygone era sit like rusted skeletons on the asphalt. The windows of skyscrapers are shattered, and an unnatural silence hangs over everything. There are no birds, no wind, no distant traffic. Nothing. A yellowed newspaper, brittle with age, is snagged on a chain-link fence. You pull it free. The lead story is about the '92 presidential race. The date at the top of the page reads, October 23rd, 1992. Your consciousness fractures. You didn't just escape their building. You've been thrown out of your own time. This is the ultimate prison. A dead, silent past where you can run forever and never find anyone. Which brings you to now. To this place. An old derelict McDonald's. Its iconic golden arches faded and peeling. The power flickers, but a laptop you found in an abandoned office miraculously works. And so you sit in a cracked vinyl booth typing this all out, a message in a bottle thrown into a dead ocean. Your new state is one of absolute solitude, but you are not entirely alone. In the darkest corner of the restaurant, bolted to a dusty bench, sits a life-size statue of Ronald McDonald. Its plastic skin is cracked, its colors are faded, but its painted smile never wavers. As you type, you can feel its glassy, unblinking eyes on you. And in the flickering, dying light of this dead world, you can't shake the terrifying certainty that its plastic smile is getting wider and that it is laughing with you because you finally understand. You already are in their world. You never really escaped. You were just transferred. You were not told a story. You were shown the blueprint of the factory, and you must understand. The exits are just doors to bigger rooms on the factory floor. The smiling faces you trust, the logos, the mascots, the symbols of help. They are not just marketing. They are the sigils that mark their property. You. So, go ahead. Look around your room. How many of their eyes are on you this very second? If this knowledge has awakened something inside you, good. It was meant to. The next video is not a choice. It's the next step on the assembly line. Click now and meet the foreman.